Why are there so many women that are so scared of the word weightlifting? Or is it two words? Both the words, weightlifting. Women are scared of it. And I notice it even when I bring it up on my own Instagram stories, I get hit with resistance to it. Like, people are like, I don't want to get bulky. I feel like you're the perfect person to ask this to.
Well, I think there's so many things that come to mind. Number one, I think it's all marketing. I think that historically, fitness has been women need to be as small as possible, and women need to lean down and tone up, and lifting weights will make you look like a man. So I think we are trying to get away from a lot of that history behind why women should exercise in the first place. So I think that's the first thing. I think secondly, women are afraid they're going to get bulky because of this conditioning that we've had in the fitness industry, that if you lift a weight, you're going to look like a man. First off, it is very difficult for most women to build muscle. You have to have a very structured routine, which we can get into that. You have to lift with a certain amount of intensity. You don't necessarily have to lift super heavy weights, which I think is another reason why women get afraid of trying to build muscle, because they think they have to lift super heavy and do these compound lifts that they see at, like, you know, in the men doing in the gym. And so they shy away from doing it at all, when really there's an in-between where you can lift a moderate amount of weight. You don't have to do heavy compound lifts to build muscle. And you can approach it from more of like a gentle, low impact standpoint and still continue to build muscle and change your body composition. And a lot of women, if they start to do that, they end up being really happy with how they look on the outside, because when you have more muscle, your body composition changes. So the ratio between fat and lean mass changes. So you fit better in your clothes. You are stronger, you improve your insulin sensitivity. It's just, I really think that it's the stigma that if we lift heavy weights, we're going to get bulky within a matter of weeks. And truly, for me, I body recompositioned the last year. So I gained muscle and lost fat at the same time. It's called body recomposition. It's a little bit of a slower process, but for me, it took me an entire year to gain 5 pounds of muscle, the whole year.
Wow.
You know what's so funny is, like, as a man, when I broach this subject with the women in my life and they tell me they're worried about bulking up, so I'm like, you understand, like, I've been training for like 20 years.
You're like trying to get bulky, and you're like, it's hard.
It is funny. I'm like, they come out and they're like, well, if I do this for like even a few months, I'm just going to get so big and bulky. I'm like, it is so hard to put on muscle. It just doesn't happen that way.
It's so hard. And I think that so what happens sometimes is women will build muscle, but they won't be losing the fat on top of the muscle. So they'll feel overall bigger because they're gaining overall mass, even though their body composition has improved. Their ratio of lean mass to fat mass has improved, but they feel like they're overall bigger. So that's where diet comes in. And because a lot of people lean on exercise, I think, way too much to like lose fat and lose weight, and they're not being considerate of how they're eating. And so they're gaining fat because they're in a calorie surplus, and they're also building muscle, so they feel bigger overall. So I think it's kind of two separate conversations that you need to have with yourself, is like, how am I eating? And then also, how am I training to build muscle?
I also think women in particular, not to be sexist here, but they're afraid of the scale. And when you start adding more muscle and then the scale goes up because the muscle weighs more than the fat, you think, oh, I'm gaining weight, which in my opinion is not a bad thing if you're building lean muscle mass. No. It's just going to weigh more, but they see that scale and they go, oh, this, like, something's going wrong. The scale is going up, not down.
I weigh more now than I ever have, but my body composition is the best that it's ever. And I truly don't weigh myself very often at all. So I don't really know what I weigh, but I know that I have more lean mass than I ever have. So I'm sure I weigh more than I ever have.
What I noticed since I started lifting and eating more protein is that I feel like my body did like a shrink wrap.
Yes.
Like it feels like everything.
You'll feel tighter when you have more muscle.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's way more fun in the bedroom. It's way more. You feel tighter, don't you think?
Stronger, yeah.
Yeah, you feel stronger. Like
what are you doing in the bedroom to lift
well, on the trip we just went on all different kinds of things. I don't know what we were doing.
She now
from the fucking ceiling like Cirque du Soleil.
When we're in the bedroom now, she just picks me up and carries me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Please.
Lauren's just like squatting him while
picking you up in the bedroom. You're going to have to find someone else to do that for you.